The quiet heart of Barnwood Builders, steady, humble, and endlessly genuine. For years, Jonny Jett has drawn viewers in with his craftsmanship and charm, turning forgotten wood into works of art. If a log couldn't be reused in one cabin, it found new life as a replacement in another. It was all about honoring the pioneers who first built these structures by hand, long before power tools or modern machinery existed. Now, the very first episode of Barnwood Builders opened with a story that reached deep into American history. Jonny and the crew were tasked with salvaging logs from a massive barn in DePaul, Indiana, one originally built in the 1830s by none other than President Abraham Lincoln's uncle, Josiah Lincoln. It was a monumental project, both in legacy and in size. The barn stood 26 feet wide, 34 feet long, and 15 feet high, with timber beams weighing as much as 1,200 pounds each. Every piece carried a story, and the crew approached it with care and respect for the craftsmanship of that era. Unlike modern structures, this barn was assembled using wooden pegs instead of nails, a signature detail of 19th century construction. Normally, the team would use machinery to tear off the roof, but this time there was a catch. The owner asked that the roof, siding, and trusses be carefully preserved, materials he planned to reuse for a new barn. It meant more manual labor, but for Jonny and his team, the history in those boards made the effort worthwhile. Once every beam and plank was safely dismantled, the crew transported the materials all the way to the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. There, a contractor would transform the salvaged timber into a new, modern home, proof that the past could live on in a beautiful new form. Jobs like this were grueling, but the crew made it look effortless. They worked with an easy camaraderie built on mutual trust. As one of them put it, they didn't see themselves as bosses or subordinates, just a tight-knit unit that worked in rhythm, each member knowing what to do and when to do it. At the heart of that team was Jonny Jett. From the very beginning, Jonny brought a unique blend of skill, wit, and warmth to every project. Alongside his crew, he traveled deep into rural America, taking on jobs that transformed crumbling barns and forgotten cabins into livable, modern masterpieces. His real magic came alive when he climbed into the seat of a piece of heavy machinery. He handled those massive tools like an artist, moving with precision and calm mastery. Even as the oldest member of the team, Jonny outworked everyone around him. Whether he was dismantling rafters or tearing off sheets of metal, he moved with purpose and energy. His work showed that even destruction could be an art form when done with intent and respect for what came before. Mark Bowe, the team's leader, often said that Jonny was the best equipment operator he'd ever seen, a true craftsman who never lost his humility. That humility made Jonny a fan favorite. His humor shone through even online, like during a Reddit Q&A when his grandson helped answer fan questions. When someone asked how he'd become so skilled on a forklift, Jonny simply joked that it came from years of practice and not wanting to climb off it. But behind the humor was a man who loved his craft, his community, and the beauty of the world around him. He often spoke about how the show took him to incredible places, with the Four Corners region standing out as one of his favorites. Coming from the lush greens of Appalachia, he was fascinated by the vast desert landscapes and their rich variety of colors and forms. The Barnwood Builders team later shared a heartfelt tribute to Jonny on social media, calling him an artist, a man of faith, a master craftsman, and most importantly, a loyal friend. That love extended beyond the worksite. Jonny often hosted fellow cast members at his cabin in Fleming County, Kentucky, where many nights were spent swapping stories and building memories. Mark Bowe once said that Jonny's home and the surrounding community felt like a second home to him, a reflection of the genuine friendships that defined their bond both on and off camera. During breaks in filming, the crew sometimes pursued personal restoration projects. Jonny, who had been reclaiming pioneer-era structures long before the show began, once discovered an old chapel that was collapsing under its own weight. Seeing potential in its bones, he salvaged the remaining good timber and began rebuilding it in Fleming County. When the rest of the crew learned what he was doing, they joined in to help dismantle the rest of the structure. The production team quickly realized the beauty of the moment and decided to feature it on the show, even though it hadn't been planned for that season. As Barnwood Builders grew in popularity, fans were eager to visit the famous boneyard, where the crew stored and restored old logs, but safety regulations meant visitors had to admire it from behind the fence. It wasn't a tourist site, but a real working construction yard. That realism was part of what made the show so beloved. Every episode featured real clients and real projects, not staged builds or scripted drama. Mark Bowe made that commitment to authenticity clear from the start. He turned down early network offers that wanted to inject artificial conflict into the series, refusing to turn genuine friendships into TV feuds. He wanted to keep the focus on the craft, the teamwork, and the history. That decision gave Barnwood Builders its soul. Originally airing on the DIY network, the show entered a new era in November 2022 when Chip and Joanna Gaines transformed the channel into Magnolia Network. They personally chose Barnwood Builders to be part of their new lineup, giving the series a fresh spotlight and a wider audience. The gamble paid off. Viewership exploded, jumping from 60 million homes to nearly 500 million worldwide. But then, an unexpected rumor surfaced, reminding everyone just how fragile success, and the truth behind it, can really be. When the rumor broke that Jonny Jett had passed away, fans of Barnwood Builders were stunned. It spread fast, and honestly, most people believed it at first. Given the demanding nature of his work, hauling heavy logs, dismantling old barns, and rebuilding historic cabins, it didn't seem impossible. The job is physically brutal, even for the younger guys on the crew. For someone Jonny's age, it was easy for people to assume the worst. Even before the hoax surfaced, viewers had been voicing their worries about Jonny's health. So when fans came across an online obituary for someone named Jonny Jett, panic spread quickly. But after a closer look, everyone realized it was a completely different man from Houston, Texas. The relief was immediate. Hopefully, Jonny's wife, Donna, and his grandchildren, Jonathan and Nicholas, the children of his late son, Jonny Eugene Jett, who passed away in 2017, weren't too shaken by the false news. When Jonny found out about the death hoax himself, he was surprised, but in true Jonny fashion, he took it in stride. Rather than getting upset, he focused on the outpouring of love and kind words that followed. That positive outlook sums him up perfectly. He's a man of faith, guided by his belief in following wherever his savior leads. Fans of Barnwood Builders know that Jonny never backs down from a hard day's work. Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, he's always out there with a grin and a steady hand. His optimism and work ethic have become part of what makes the show so special. And he's lucky to have a boss and friend like Mark Bowe, who's deeply committed to taking care of his team. Mark has even made it a priority to ensure that the crew members who've been around since the beginning, like Jonny, have a comfortable retirement waiting for them. Outside of the show, Jonny stays busy with another passion, his art. He creates rustic, handcrafted pieces that reflect his deep appreciation for history and craftsmanship. His work sells quickly online, a testament to how much fans adore his creativity. With an estimated net worth of around $400,000, Jonny has built a solid, fulfilling life for himself and Donna. They keep their personal lives mostly private, but for someone as humble and grounded as Jonny, that comes as no surprise. He still appears regularly on Barnwood Builders, and his role remains essential. Together, Jonny, Mark, and the crew have challenged old stereotypes about Appalachian craftsmen. They've redefined what it means to be a hillbilly, showing the world that it's really about hard work, resilience, and pride in one's craft. Their work takes them all over the eastern United States, tracking down aging barns and cabins in need of saving. And when the team faces a complex or risky job, Jonny is the one they trust to handle it. His precision, patience, and deep respect for the materials make him irreplaceable. Every time he restores a piece of history, he feels like he's becoming part of that story himself. Within the restoration community, Jonny is known as the calm, capable demolition man, the one who gets the job done without fuss or drama. He's been a cornerstone of Barnwood Builders since the very beginning, and it's hard to imagine the show without him. The day fans realized the death rumors weren't true, the collective sigh of relief said it all. The producers and castmates clearly have no plans to slow down, and neither does Jonny. As long as there are barns to dismantle and cabins to save, he'll be there, doing what he loves. He often reflects on how fortunate he's been to make a living out of something that brings him joy, reminding others that those who get to do what they love every day are truly the lucky ones. For all his success and the fame he's gained later in life, Jonny still sees himself as a regular guy. In his eyes, he's just been blessed, and maybe, as he likes to say, God has taken quite a liking to him.